Good morning, Doctor. We are from Joker Group. This is our video presentation for Real-Time Programming Assignment 2. I'm Uwe, metric number 287982.
My name is Wong Cheng, metric number 285440.
Alright, before we demo our program, let's have an overview look at our project. Basically, our project addressed the need for efficient scheduling algorithms in modern computing. In our program, we have implemented the round-robin algorithm, which is known for its fairness in a real-world applications, and integrated with a Telegram bot. The main objective is to implement the round-robin algorithm, manage user input like process ID, burst time, and arrival time properly, ensure fair CPU resource distributions, and improve user interaction via the Telegram bot. The methodology involved developing a Telegram bot, integrating it with Maven, and storing data in SQLite. The result indicates the effectiveness of the program by giving user outputs such as average response time, average waiting time, and average turnaround time. In a nutshell, our project successfully used the round-robin algorithm to solve the scheduling problem.
So first of all, we use the Telegram bot folder to create a new bot. So we first type the new bot command and then assign the bot name, JokerBot, username, and then after that, we will get the link and the token for our bot. And when we click this link, it will go to the new bot, JokerBot.
Next, I will continue to explain about the dependency we use for our program. So in order to integrate with Telegram bot, we need to add this dependency to our pom.xml file to enable us to interact with the Telegram bot API, as this dependency will help in handling communication with the Telegram server. Other than that, in order to store user input in SQLite database, we need to add this SQLite JDBC dependency to our pom.xml file to enable our Java program to connect and interact with SQLite database. Next, we will start demonstrating our program. We will demonstrate the program for two types of conditions, as the first one will be the situation that all the processors have same arrival time, while the second one will have different arrival time. Now I will demonstrate the first case in which all the processors will have same arrival time. Okay, so before we run our program, we need to create our database first to store user input. So we need to run this create.java file to create our database. Okay, so after we run the create.java file, the database called jokerbot.db is successfully created in our file explorer. After that, we can start running our program through this main.java file. As we run this main.java file, the program will establish a connection to the SQLite database that we created before this using this connect method. And the program will create table inside the database if they don't exist. So basically, the program will create a total of 3 tables as shown here to store user input and the result. Okay, now we will run this program and demonstrate our Telegram bot. Okay, so firstly, we need to input the start command into our Telegram bot. Okay, after that, the program will require us to input the number of process we want. For example, we input 5 as the number of process we want. Okay, then the program will display a message showing the number of process has been saved successfully and continuously ask user to input the quantum number. This time we input 3 as the quantum number. And the program displays successful message. And next, the program required user to input details for process 1, including process ID, burst time, and arrival time based on certain format shown in the message. So we input detail for process 1. After that, continue with process 2, process 3, process 4, okay, and lastly, process 5. Okay, after we finish to input all the required informations, the program will display a message indicating that the process details added successfully and listing out the result as shown here, including the response time for each process, average response time, average waiting time, and average turnaround time. Okay, now we will explain a little bit about the important segment of code. So for the case that we demoed just now, where all the arrival time are the same for all processes, which are 1, meaning that the processes do not start at 0. So at first, we need to increase the timer until the process arrives. After that, we use for loop to track and execute the processes. Inside the for loop, initially the start time of each process will be set. And then the program will check the arrival time for all processes using this hasArrival method. if all the arrival time of all processes are different, this segment of code will be executed, else this segment of code will be executed. So in my case, all the process have the same arrival time. So this segment of code has been executed. So for my case, if the remaining burst time is bigger than quantum time, the timer will keep accumulating. And then the remaining burst time will be deducted by the quantum time until all the remaining burst time equal to 0. Then the program will record the completion time for the process. And then the program will retrieve the data, including burst time, arrival time, and other information from database and bring to result.java to be calculated.
Now let me list another examples. So first of all, we just type restart command first, and then number of process 5, quantum number 2, and then we input the first process details, second, third, and the fourth process, let's say I just type E. And since it does not have the underscore or also does not have 3 parts of inputs, so this is a wrong format and it will display the error message. So now I input the valid format inputs. The fifth process. And then after the calculations, it will display the response time for each process, the average response time, waiting time, and also the average turnaround time. And then we type terminate. And it will say session terminate, thank you. So now let me briefly explain this part of code. Since in this case, the arrival time of the first process is equals to 0, so no need to increment the timer. And then inside the for loop, the start time of each process will be set first. And then it will check for the arrival time by using this hasArrival method. And since the arrival time of the process in this case are different, so it will execute this part of code. The CTR here is used to keep track the time spent on the current process within the time quantum. If the remaining burst time of the process is greater than 0 and the time spent on the current process is less than the time quantum, then it will keep running this part of code. It will call and execute the handle arrival check method. This method is used to check whether process haven't arrived yet. So if there's an arrival of a new process, it will call and execute this update cube method. It will find an available slot in the cube array and then update the cube. If there's no available slot found, then it will not update the cube. And then when the remaining burst time of the process is equal to 0, means that it already complete its burst. So the completion time of the process will be recorded. And then the program will retrieve the burst time and arrival time from the database together with the completion time and start time, bring to the result.java to do calculations. And then after that, all the result will store in the database and then display in the Telegram bot. So now let me show the database. Refresh. And we can see that the previous examples, the processes with the same arrival time, the user input is also updated successfully in the database. And this part is just now the processes with the different arrival time. So we can see that the user input updated successfully in the database. And then we show the table that store the results. And we can see that the result also stored successfully in the database. Next, let me show the Javator for this program. This is the Javator for this program. This is the class diagram for our program. We total have 6 classes in this program. In conclusion, this project effectively implemented the round-robin algorithm to solve the scheduling problem and integrate with Telegram bot. The successful execution of the algorithm and calculation demonstrated the program capability. That's all for our video. Thank you.